Okay, good afternoon, everyone. If you are out there and if you can hear me, please type in the comment section, yes, you can hear me. Give you guys a few minutes to log on. So sorry about the first log on. I think I was having problems with the sound, so I'm back. So if you can hear me, please type yes, I can hear you. I just need to make sure that I have sound before I move forward. Okay, I see we got some people popping on. So for those of you who are joining me right now, if you can hear me, please let me know you can hear me. Say yes, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me? Type yes, I can hear you. And as soon as I get proper confirmation, okay, great, thank you. So now that I have proper confirmation, I can move on. I do apologize about the first pop-up. My sound wasn't working. I had my little Yeti hooked up, but I guess this guy didn't want to connect to the system. But nevertheless, here we are. Okay, so welcome again, everybody. My name is Bridget Montgomery. I am a master social worker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I also hold a master's of science in nonprofit management, and I'm a national certified sex offender treatment specialist. I think it's really important for me to share that information with you all. I often do that because people quite often ask me, what do all those initials behind my name mean? And, I think it's important to kind of, share that because those initials mean something. I worked really hard to earn them. And so I do share them. I'm also founder and owner and CEO of Bridge of Love 2 private practice group. Behavioral health and mental health group agency. This is just what I do and is what I love. And so one of the other things that I enjoy doing and love doing is helping social workers achieve their goal. And that goal is mastering or successfully passing the ASWB licensing exam. So here I am today. I just want to do a quick practice question, just kind of go over it with you guys really quickly and see what we could come up together. This is just my way of giving back, my way of supporting, my way of helping. And I hope today that somebody, gets something out of this process. As I said before, this exam all by itself, it is very challenging, and it causes a lot of frustration, anger, disappointment, depression, and anxiety for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And mostly because, it's just the challenge of trying to get over that hump, trying to accomplish something that we know we're good at, that we know we're capable of, and that we know we deserve. And when we don't quite make the mark, we tend to beat up on ourselves and feel like, okay, maybe this just wasn't made for me. And I'm going to say to you, if you're in this field and this field is made for you, and you didn't choose this field simply because you were just looking for a job or looking for something to do. Well, I hope you didn't. But most of us are here because we have a passion, we have a drive, we have a desire, we have a love. And so I am going to challenge you all to put before you your why. Why are you here? Why did you select this profession? And why did you choose to become a social worker? When you understand your why, when you can see your why and you have it before you, then you have something that you're actually working for and you're actually working towards. If we're doing this because it's a job, if we're doing this because we're chasing a dollar, if we're doing this because we have to pay a bill, then yeah, it's going to be tough and it's going to be challenging. Now, that doesn't mean that your why placed in front of you is what is going to help you get over that hump and pass that exam. But that why placed in front of you is what's going to be your motivation. It's what's going to keep you in the game. It's what's going to keep you not giving up and help you understand that there's greater on the other side. So I need you all to stay with me, and I need you all to remember why you're here. And as you're remembering why you're here, you're not going to give up until you have achieved and accomplished that goal. And that is walking away with that license that you deserve and that belongs to you. So let's move on to that, to the question. All right. So that was my quick spew. Here we go. All right. So let's read this. You are completing an initial assessment with a 42-year-old female. You ask your client, do you ever feel like you're more anxious than other people your age? The client responds by saying, I hate it when I let my laundry pile up for weeks at a time. I don't understand why I do that. Looking at all these clothes just make me not want to fold them and put them away, so the job never gets done. Which of the following is the best way to describe the client's response? A, client has tangential speech. B, the client is not alert to person, place, or time. C, the client struggles with abstract reasoning. And D, the client struggles with making good judgments. Now, I bet you all are probably already pouncing in your mind and in your head, oh, okay, I got this. I know what this is, right? And so you want to quickly go and respond and give an answer. And that's okay, right? But what I want to caution you with, and what I want to help you learn how to do, is slow down and take your time and figure out first what's going on here, right? So that's a key question that I always ask myself, and I always tell my students to ask themselves, what is going on here? Okay, now remember, this is an exam that is assessing your ability to be able to process, reason, and problem solve, okay? So we need to be able to process, reason, and problem solve. That's what it's assessing. This is not that exam that you're so used to taking when you're reading a multiple choice question and it's kind of based on recall, memory, what you remember, what you study, and what you committed to your memory through rote memory, reciting, right? This is about recall memory, what you understand, what you comprehend, and how it applies to what you're doing. So this is application and skill, right? And so before you move forward, what you want to ask yourself is what's going on here. Now, I challenge you to ask yourself what's going on here, because then this is going to challenge you to think about the content area that is being assessed. Now, when I look at A, B, C, and D, it gives me a little bit of insight of what quite possibly may be assessed here. And when I talk about the content area, right, what I'm specifically talking about is thinking about the KSAs, that list of all those different subtopics that we need to know, and that the ASWB pretty much recommended and suggested that we study. So that list of the different topic areas, what content area is being assessed here? And I'm actually going to put that question out to you guys and see if you can kind of identify that for yourself. So what content area is being assessed here in this vignette? When we read the vignette, what is it that the writer of this question want to see if we know or if we understand? If you want to take a second and write that down in the comment section, that would be very helpful. The more you talk to me, the better I can talk back to you, and we can make this a real interactive process, and I can, know what I need to say to better engage you. So what do you guys think? What content area, if anybody is bold enough or have a little bit of courage and want to go ahead and type something, what content area do you believe is being assessed here? So if we take a look at this vignette and we read through here, right, we know we got a couple of things going on. One, this is an initial assessment. That initial assessment is key for a lot of things. Don't disregard the first sentence ever. Always pay attention to that first sentence and see what's going on, because it's kind of like a platform, like a guiding focus. So knowing that we're in an initial assessment, this is a brand new client, and so how we're going to respond and treat and work with this client will determine how we move forward in what it is that we need to do. And it will give us insight in terms of what kind of skill set we need to have, or what we need to know. So we have an initial assessment, and we're working with a 42-year-old female. Okay. Now, you, the evaluator, the assessor, the social worker, the therapist, whatever, you want to call yourself in this particular situation, you asked your client a question, a very specific question. And that question was, Do you ever feel like you are more anxious than other people your age, right? You went very specific and very direct, and you asked a question, right? Now, your client then responds to you by saying this: I hate it when I let my laundry pile up for 3 weeks at a time. I don't understand why I do that. Looking at all those clothes just make me not want to fold them and put them away. So the job never gets done. Now, this client gave you a whole description of something, but was it relative to the question that you asked her? Is that a yes or is that a no? Did she answer your question, right? And we're looking at that. Why are we looking at that? Why are we paying attention to that, right? So here it is. We ask ourselves, what's going on here? Well, what's going on here? I got a new client. I'm doing an assessment. What's important in an initial assessment when you're evaluating a client? Based on how this question is written. Now, remember, everything is always based on the structure of the question. Based on how this question is written, I believe the writer of this question wants to assess if I understand how to do a mental status. All right. And so if I know how to do a mental status, then I would know how to describe my client's response. Right. And so they want to know what's the best way to describe my client's response. If I was documenting this in my notes, doing a mental status assessment, how would I document this? Well, we got 3 shades of colors here, right? I got a red, I got a black, and then I got kind of like I don't know that color, whatever color that is. I don't know my colors. I got all those letters behind my name, but I can't tell you what color this is, but whatever. Anyway, so we know we're in an initial assessment. We know we have a brand new client. And in assessment, that's what we're doing. That word assessment, we're assessing the situation. We're assessing what's going on. We ask the question because we're evaluating. And when we're doing our biopsychosocial, this is part of our biopsychosocial. So when we're doing our biopsychosocial, right, we got to gather information so that we can understand how to make a thorough assessment. But a part of that biopsychosocial assessment also involves us being able to do a mental status exam. And so in that mental status exam, we're doing different things. What are some of the things that we do when we're taking a mental status exam? If you don't mind putting that in the comment section, that will help me out. You guys got to talk back to me, okay? Thank you, Jessica. So what are some of the different things that we look for in a mental status exam, right? So we ask ourselves what's going on here. We look at the question, the vignette, and we see that this question is assessing our ability to be able to do a mental status exam. We then think about, what kind of questions do we ask in a mental status? Age, right? No, not age, I'm sorry. We look and see if they're alert to person, space, time, right? Some of the questions that we got in there. We look at their body language, right? We assess their speech, right? We address how they're dressed. We look at, if their hygiene, their grooming. We look at if there's any indication of any kind of psychosis. We, scan for suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, right? Or intent. So there's different things. It's like a quick snapshot. Like we're observing, we're looking at situations, we're asking various questions. And some of them are direct and some are indirect. But this one was a direct question. And based on that direct question, the client did not give us a direct response to what we were asking. The client kind of veered away from, the question. She didn't even stay on focus. She didn't stay on target. She did not respond to the exact question that we asked. And she gave us a question that had nothing to do with the question that we asked of her. So given that, which one here would be the best choice? Is it A, B, C, or D? Now, when we look at A, if we understand what tangential speech means, then I think we're a little bit closely on target, right? And that would be more of a yes. Because when speech is tangential, client has a difficult time with focusing and staying on task, or client, veers away from what's being asked and talk about something irrelevant, right? So this is kind of like tangential speech. When we look at B, is this question that you ask the client, is it assessing if she's alert to person, who she is, place where she is, and time of day? Was that question structured to ask her that kind of question? No, it wasn't. So B is not relevant here. And then we look at C, the client struggles with abstract reasoning. Well, we didn't ask her anything abstractly. We asked her a direct question, and she was not able, well, she just did not answer it. She kind of veered away and went and responded in a different way. There was nothing abstract about what we asked her. And then we have D, the client struggles with making good judgment. Well, we don't know because we didn't get that far in the questioning just yet. We didn't ask her anything that was relevant toward assessing her judgment. And so when we look at all choices A, B, C, and D, at this particular time, the best answer choice is answer choice A. Now, I chose this because what I'm also learning is that a lot of us don't understand how to do a mental status exam. And some of us don't even know what it is. This is something that we do all the time with every single client. Whether we're asking them the questions directly or indirectly, this is something that we all should be doing. Every time a client comes into our office or in our space, we should be taking a mental status exam. So when you know what a mental status exam is, then you have a better understanding of what it is that you're doing. And so a mental status exam is pretty much an assessment that gives you an explanation of what's going on with the client. It kind of zero in on specific details. It looks at the mental, emotional, and behavioral state of the client. And it's your job to be able to take a quick snapshot of what you see and put it on paper. This will help you in terms of doing your assessments and your evaluations as you move on in the session, whether it's just what's happening for that day, the counseling session, or the interaction you're going to have with that client. It will help to structure and guide you in which way you should go. If you're doing a full biopsychosocial evaluation or assessment, it also helps give some insight into quite possibly what other things you may need to do, how to formulate your treatment around the client, and what things you need to focus on and work on. So mental status exams, although brief and not, is not something that you have to necessarily always write down in complete detail. Is something that's more brief. It's something that you need to focus and pay attention to. And it's something that you need to know how to do and you should be doing with every client that comes into your office. For those of you who want more information and more studying on doing how to do mental status exams and what they are and what pieces should go into a mental status exam, I did include a link for you guys. And so it's right here. What I will do is that I will copy and paste it and put it into the comment section. So then that way you can just hit the link and kind of go to this page for yourself and use it for your own study purposes. Okay. So today's question was just really about understanding how to do a mental status exam, what they are, and why we need them and why we do them. And so if you can see right now, I just put in the comment section that link. And so you can take advantage of that, hit that link, go to the page, read through, and study. All right. So that's all I got for today. My goal was to keep it short and brief. I got to go ahead and get ready and prepare for my 1:30. But you guys have a great afternoon. Enjoy the weather if you're in the area where you got some good sun, because we finally got great weather here in Pennsylvania, thank goodness. For anybody else that is interested in some one-to-one private tutoring, I do offer that. You can always go to my personal webpage off of Facebook and fill out a registration form and let me know that you're interested. We just closed our cohort group that's starting in June, on June 5th. I do have a second cohort group, but that's for mid-afternoon, so it's 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you would need to, check with your time zone to see what that corresponds with you. But I have a 6-week cohort group for a lunch and learn. Same process, but we'll be meeting in a small group. So if anybody is interested, please just go to my webpage and fill out the registration form and let me know. And I will talk to you next time. And if you need to review this again or any of the other videos that I put out, just go to my YouTube page, and there's over 30 videos there that you can kind of check through and view and use for your own study purposes. Have a great afternoon, guys. I'm gonna, before I say goodbye, I'm going to put my work personal page here. And just make sure you hit the menu and just navigate that process so you can see all the services that I provide. All right. That is it for now. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon.